What's up? You're going to have to forgive the audio on this if it's shitty. The mic on my camera isn't working, so I'm using one on my headphones. It was much too loud when I was wearing them, plus it's uncomfortable as shit. So, you're going to have to bear with me. Second thing, people keep asking me this. Yes, it's summertime, I'm wearing a hood, mainly to keep the hair out of my eyes if I'm going to try to read something. I like having long hair, but the only thing that really pisses me off about it is it's difficult to read stuff. Especially if you're reading a book and it's all, but the hood keeps the hair out of my eyes. I want to talk about a couple of random things. I want to talk about one thing that somebody said in a letter that they sent me, and I thought this was kind of interesting. It's not really important what the letter is about. They said, no offense, but most Americans I meet are not over-furnished on the top floor. So when I meet someone who thinks things which are as light and blah, 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 whatever. I think this is an interesting topic. And this is kind of, I've touched on this shit before. Listen, I say it too. Americans are stupid. Americans are stupid. Americans are no more stupid than any other group of people, okay? People in general are fucking retarded. Anywhere, anytime, any group of people, they're fucking stupid. The ratio, of smart to stupid is constant through any general population. Of course, if you go to if you're just taking people that go to Harvard or something, it's different. But I mean, just general everyday folks, the ratio is consistent. The thing about Americans is that, as part of our culture, and I think it's a good thing, we take pride. It's just drilled into you to be an individual, and all this shit. Make it your own way, whatever. But that also has the negative effect of stupid people thinking that it's awesome and, they're doing it their own way if they're fucking stupid. So really, Americans are not dumber than any other country's people. We're just louder. I think that's the best way to describe that. Because having spoken to people from all over the world, I can tell you that we do not hold a monopoly on stupid people. But since we're so much fucking louder, you would think that way. Alright, so, I like to cook, right? I think it's obvious. Well, just because I'm fat doesn't mean I like to cook. A lot of people are fat and they don't know how to cook, which is a shame, because not knowing how to cook, it's not that fucking hard, okay? People are always like, wow, you know how to cook stuff? It's like, yeah, it's not that fucking hard. But I watched Good Eats, man, with the Alton Brown on the Food Network, but they got that shit on YouTube. And I'm watching it and I'm trying to think of something to make tonight, because I wanted to make something. I'm going to make risotto. It's going to be fucking delicious. But I was watching something he had about lobsters. And, he talked about two different methods for offing your lobsters, killing your lobsters even. I guess you could bash them in the head, but the two best ways is you lay a knife. There's like a line that goes down the back of their carapace, and you lay it right where the head meets the rest of the body. You just kind of jam the knife in there and cut down, and basically you split their head apart and they die. But since they're bugs or arthropods, I think that's the right word, they're essentially gigantic bugs. And being such simple creatures, they tend to move a lot post-mortem. So they'll appear to be alive, but really they're dead. It's just like when you crush a spider and its legs twitch. Same thing, fucking thing, And the other method for people who just don't have the heart and just don't feel like making a mess of straight up killing it, you can put the fuckers in the freezer for a little while, and they kind of pass out, and then you dump them right into the steam or boiling water. Steam is better. And they die in like 15-20 seconds. But there's all these people's comments about, oh, it's so mean, blah, blah, blah. And people were doing what I'm glad to see. They're like, dude, you're a fucking pussy. It's a fucking bug. This one guy's like, I hate to see all this shit, just because you don't have the heart to kill it doesn't mean you're a pussy. Yes, it does. I take a very firm stance on this. And this is the only time that I'm really like, oh, you fucking tree-hugging liberal pieces of shit. It's a fucking bug. It's a gigantic bug. It's a big-ass fucking cockroach. In fact, they're closely related. my stance is, if you can avoid killing something, if you just don't want to, you don't have to. But if you're not willing to kill something that you're eating, you don't fucking deserve to eat it. If somebody had a cow farm right now, and they said, hey man, you want to come out and learn how to slaughter a cow? I'd fucking do that shit. I've killed animals before, not for fun, but it's not that big of a fucking deal, alright? And I think it's a primal part of human nature. It's getting back to your roots, man, to kill an animal for food. It's an interesting experience, But people bitch about it, and I can understand to a certain extent people having trouble killing a mammal, a big animal with eyes, and something that you can sort of relate to on a basic level. But people do this shit with lobsters. Come on, it's a fucking bug, man. You wouldn't have any problem with stomping on a spider or a cockroach, but you can't handle killing a fucking lobster or fish. Fish, okay. Let me explain to you how fucking low on the evolutionary ladder, at least in comparison. I know that's probably not a good scientific term, and a lot of the evolutionists will probably be like, Chris. But bear with me, all right? One time, me and my uncle went fishing, bass fishing. We were getting bass out on the Detroit River, and a lot of people are like, you can go fishing on the Detroit River? Actually, yes, it's great fishing on the Detroit River. They got big-ass fish. I don't know if it's because the chemicals. I don't know what the thing is. I think it's just because not a lot of people fish there. There's a lot of fish, big-ass fish on the Detroit River, so you people around here, go fishing there. It's fun shit. But we came back, and we had these, these are good-sized bass, Caught a couple of them, no problem. And, you fillet the fucking fish, right? I don't know if you ever filleted a fish. It's pretty straightforward. You take off both fillets on either side, and it's done. Now, this one fish, completely filleted and partially gutted, was still flopping for almost 10 minutes, all right? Now, this is not an animal that's in pain. This is an animal with an extremely simple nervous system. That's all it is, okay? You really shouldn't feel bad about fucking killing a fish, okay? Then again, I don't support the, killing animals just for the fuck of it, but, it's not that big of a deal. So I was also looking at some hunting videos, I haven't had the chance to go hunting yet, but it's not because I'm against it, I just haven't had the fucking chance to do it. And my rifle was stolen, so I don't even have my rifle. But I was watching hunting videos, and there's some really good videos, really clean shots. I mean, this one guy shot this deer, it dropped dead. A lot of deer that you shoot them, they'll get up, they'll run a while, and then they'll die. This one, just plopped onto the ground, didn't fucking move. It was a perfect shot. It was the cleanest shit I've ever seen. And people are still bitching about it. They're like, oh, it's so mean, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, if I could go out that clean and painless, I guarantee most of us aren't going to go out that clean and painless. Most of us are going to suffer for years, months, maybe years under, debilitating diseases and getting all old and dying slowly and in terrible pain. I'd much rather just get fucking shot. But people are stupid. And, just a bunch of pussies. And a lot of people don't even know shit about hunting. It's like, people don't realize how much hunters do for conservation of wildlife in this country. Some of the biggest groups, that fund conservation of wildlife, especially game, deer, pheasants, turkeys, ducks, shit like that, are hunters. Not only do they have a vested interest because they want to be able to continue to hunt, for as long as possible. You kill all the animals, there's no more animals to hunt. But, you have an appreciation of nature. And most of the people that I've met who are anti-hunting are either women, not surprising, or are people that have never fucking spent time in the woods, man. They've never spent time out in nature. They've never gone fishing. They've never been around hunting. They've never been to a slaughterhouse. They've never seen how that shit's done. They want their shit packaged and handed to them. They don't want to think about what happened to get that product from where it started to where it is now. These are the kind of people that are against hunting. Why? Because they're fucking ignorant and they're obnoxious as shit. You're hard-pressed to find a more obnoxious advocacy group than the anti-hunting people. And they go hand in hand with these PETA fucks. I fucking hate PETA. But they just don't know shit. And this is another example of ignorance, in action. Because these people don't know anything. They think... I've met people that really think that all hunters are like sadistic torturers, that they like to just go out and they just shoot animals just because they like to see them squirm on the ground. It's like, no, man. Fair enough, there's probably one or two people scattered around. There's sick fucks everywhere. But that is not the majority, okay? Get that shit fucking perfectly straight. That is not the majority. And these people don't know about all the hunting groups that get together and pool money for conservation. They don't know about, like I was watching something about African safaris, and a lot of these game reservations in Africa, you pay a lot of money. Sometimes you pay by the species, by the animal, whatever. These people pay a lot of money to go hunting on safari. Sometimes you can hunt elephant, Cape buffalo, all kinds of shit like that. They're like, oh, it's so terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, this is how these parks fund themselves. That's how they conserve animals. They get all the money from all these hunters, and they use that money towards protecting these animals from poachers and people that are killing elephants just for their ivory, and for people that are laying snare traps and having animals get caught in snare traps and just die from terrible infections that last months. These hunters are out there helping the environment, man. They're helping these animals, and part of that is through sport hunting, and that's just the fucking way it is. And I find people who are against, I even know people who are against fishing, like, they're fucking fish, man. If you're going to be against fishing, you should be against big-ass commercial fishing that are killing our oceans. But, Jim Bob and his brother Joe going out on the rowboat into the local pond and catching a couple of bass is not a fucking problem, okay? If anything, that's probably better for the environment anyway, and help control population. Like deer hunting. If we weren't hunting these fucking deer, especially in Michigan, the fuckers wander through Detroit and shit, deer. If we didn't control the population, they'd go out of control and they'd starve to death. That's partially human cause because we eliminated a lot of their natural predators, but there's nothing I can do about that right now. And that wasn't mostly hunters that did that. That was mostly ranchers and livestock owners that killed all the wolves. But it's just astonishing to me, and it's so weird. Like, to a certain extent, I can respect, at least intellectually, the vegan or the vegetarian that, they're against killing animals, and they also don't eat animals, They just don't eat animals. I think that's fucking stupid, but I can respect that on an intellectual level. But people who will sit there and eat a sausage, eat a hamburger, eat a steak, eat a roast, and then get all squeamish when they hear about how you slaughter a pig or a cow, or about hunting, or cleaning, field stripping an animal. Those people piss me off. Okay, if you can't handle the reality of what's going on here, you should probably fucking stop. All right, fucking astonishing to me. It's similar to people who are for the Iraq War, but they don't want to hear about the soldiers getting maimed and killed. They don't want to hear about the reality of what's going on. Don't support it if you're not willing to deal with the reality. Don't eat meat if you're not willing to fucking deal with the reality. Don't be a fucking pussy. It's not that big of a deal. If you live out in the country, there's a lot of places you can go on tours of a slaughterhouse. I recommend you do it. It's quite interesting. Learn about how humane actually it is when they kill these animals. A lot of the cows, they basically punch a fucking rod through their skull. They die instantly. I wish I could be that fucking lucky. Fucking bizarre to me. So, basically what I'm getting at is, if you aren't willing to kill it, don't eat it. Alright? If you aren't willing to hear about the realities of something you support or are a part of, I recommend that you rethink your support or your participation in that activity or event or whatever it may be, whether it's eating or war or whatever. And fucking learn something about what you're talking about. Most people are surprised when they hear about how much hunters groups do for conservation, because they don't fucking know. They don't pay attention. How do they think that there's still so many fucking wild game in this country that you can get a hunting license for so cheap. I've talked to people in England. Hunting prices for licenses is fucking huge. Here, it's nothing. Why? Because we've carefully, for the most part, conserved the species that we like to hunt, like you got your deer, your white-tailed deer, your mule deer, all that kind of shit. Conserved it and kept up the population to the point that it's safe, economical, and better for the environment for us to harvest a certain amount of those animals. And that is hunters that did that. Those are hunters that have preserved these species. Your waterfowl, your turkeys, your deer, your certain kinds of buffalo, ram, even bears, man, brown bear, black bear, wild boar. That's the fucking reality, man. So it was kind of off topic for me, but that's just something I had to talk about. So I'll fucking